This is what the Loveland frog is like. Okay. This is right. Okay. Again, it's standing upright. It's like this weird fucking big frog monster, right? But okay.
We've all had those days.
We've all had these days where you just wake up and you're going for your drink of water and you look like the Loveland frog, right? You're like, oh fuck, I gotta get some water in me. I gotta piss. Okay. All right, I gave you guys homework before we did this. Who wants to go first? For the
Mothman.
No, okay.
Actually, I have a question.
¿Qué pasó?
Are you recording it?
Yeah, I'm recording. Pendejo.
Can we make the distinction between what you're going to classify as a cryptid
Yes.
and what people would normally consider cryptids?
Okay, so let's make this clear, right? I consider a cryptid to be
Yeti.
mostly an animal that's natural bordering on supernatural. And I say that distinction because I know what you're thinking. What is a Wendigo, right? Is a Wendigo a cryptid? Would you say that it's a cryptid? Would you say a skinwalker is a cryptid? Because that's essentially what a Wendigo is.
Yeah, I would personally say no, they're not.
Okay.
They're more like a spirit. I don't really consider spirits cryptids.
Sure.
But there are a lot of people who consider ghosts and spirits cryptids.
Okay, but
that's
see, those people are dumb. They're the same kind of people who think that a bigger lizard than normal is a cryptid, and that's not what we're here for. I'll give you an example off the top of my head for cryptids, all right? Here's an easy example for cryptid versus non-cryptid. Number one, Jersey Devil, very famous cryptid. It's just like a goat demon monster that flies up in the air.
Yeah,
and does
that was on my list of things to ask about, was the
Right.
Jersey Devil.
But, and again, this is maybe cheating because they're kind of two different realms, but would you consider the Blair Witch to be a cryptid? No.
No.
First of all, because it's from a movie, but also the concept of it is it's just some weird witch thing that lives in the forest, maybe, and that is associated with a serial killer, maybe, right? That concept is still very much grounded in sorcery, supernatural stuff, but it's also depicted as kind of like a Wendigo, the Blair Witches, right? But I wouldn't consider it a cryptid, even if it was a real thing. Obviously, it's not. It's from a movie. Good movie, by the way. But that's what I'm saying. Like for a cryptid to be...
I know a lot of people consider the Jersey Devil a cryptid.
Right, and I would too. I would 100% consider the Jersey Devil to be a cryptid. In fact, that was kind of where we were going with the distinction. So, as a guy who does research on cryptids on his time off, because I'm stupid like that, I'm cutting the hard distinction between if it's close to or kind of like a Wendigo, it's not a cryptid. It has its own category, which is a horrifying creature from the forest, you know?
Like a Sasquatch.
Shut up! You guys are doing this on purpose. I know you guys are doing this on purpose, okay? All right, so now that we have that distinction, I want to hear cryptids that you guys like and or that you did research on. If not, I'll go first.
Go first.
Okay, so we're gonna go with my favorite one. My favorite one is
Chupacabra.
no, it's the hide behind. You guys are seeing this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the hide behind is like this. Well, let's read the Wikipedia page. It's a fearsome critter, which is possibly the lamest thing I've ever heard. It's like
A fearsome critter.
It's like a critter, right?
Beautiful.
No, it's honest to God an awesome description.
Okay, if you say so. I'm just saying it's traditionally grouped as a legendary creature, which again, for the purposes of this, I'm counting a tall, furry, kind of humanoid, but kind of not creature that hides behind a tree, and then when you're not looking, grabs you and drags you into the woods. I'm counting that as a cryptid because there's not much supernatural to that. It's just kind of like popularly depicted as a dog, but who knows? You know, like there's in popular culture there, it runs you through it. But I love this creature mostly because I can just imagine the founding of it, right? Like, oh, okay. Like, oh my God. Like, first of all, dumb name. All one word, hide behind. Not a big fan. But some weirdo lumberjack in the middle of the forest is like, oh, you guys will never believe it. I saw a dog, I guess, humping a tree, and it scared me. And they're like, oh, huh, you know. And then to save face, this guy's like, oh no, but actually it was like 7 feet tall, and it had like big legs, and it was like gonna drag me. I saw it drag John into the forest and eat him, you know. So I like to hide behind a lot, but it's one of those things that's like, you see them, like the in popular culture thing pops up every once in a while, and it's like, it shows up. I think I remember seeing it once in Gravity Falls. It lists it right there. It's like, oh, you know, I like.
What I'm wondering is, this 2018 short horror film, The Hide Behind,
Let's see it.
is this real?
Behind short horror film. I mean, see, this looks scary, right? Because you could see from like the little still right here, like, this is not a hide behind, this is just some man in a mask. But this is closer to what I thought it would look like. This is closer to like, oh, it's just this weird furry kind of dog-like creature that hides in the forest. Again,
it's not a man in a yellow beanie.
it's not, the hide behind is not a man in yellow beanie. No,
I mean, if it were though,
it would be scary, to be honest with you. Like, look at the clashing colors of this man. He's like light blue and yellow beanie. Like, he's ready to stand out. You're gonna see him coming from a mile away. But anyways, like I said, lumberjack victims, people who are in the forest, they get dragged back to the creature's lair to be devoured. Not that big, like, oh, you know, like, what does it do? Like, we talked about this previously, right? But there's like a quality of creature who's like, yeah, it just kills you. And then you got the Wendigo, which is like, yeah, it just kills you, but it turns you into a Wendigo, or it nays your soul forever. Like, you know, again, it's kind of like your typical.
oh god, I'm looking at that screenshot from Gravity Falls at The Hide Behind. This is some horror shit.
Like, let me see it.
Ooh.
Hide behind Gravity Falls. Ads go away. Yeah. I mean, see, that's scary. Like, if this is what it is, this is kind of scary.
Yeah, like,
It's closer to like it's closer to like Groot meets the Slender Man, but that's fine. You know, you do whatever you want with the mythos. It's not so popular that I think it's gonna have super set rules on it. I just really like, I just like to hide behind because, again, it's kind of bordering on ridiculous, but they're like described as large, powerful animals, not really visible because it's hiding behind a tree, hence the name, right? I like these kind of forest creatures that are plausible because there's like 1,000 fucking miles of forest in certain parts of the United States that are just like, you have no idea what's going on in there. Like, there could be a creature that's existed there since the dawn of man that nobody knows about because there's so much space. It just doesn't leave that's his ecosystem, you know, like, it doesn't venture out. I'm saying it's plausible. I don't really believe it, but I'm saying it's plausible, right? Anyways, we remember this because aside from you guys telling me what your cryptids are and we're looking into it, I got a fun little exercise for you at the end of it once everybody kind of gives us. So anyways, Elio, do you want to go next?
I picked the Mothman.
Mothman. Okay. Mothman Festival. Let's do Mothman Cryptid. How about that?
So the Mothman appeared in the 60s.
Right.
Supposedly these kids were driving and they saw these dark red eyes like land in the road in front of them, and it spooked the shit out of them, so they throw that bitch in reverse and they drive out of there.
Right.
And they floor it and they see this thing take flight.
Yeah.
This described it as like a six-foot figure with wings, and it flew so fast it was able to catch up with the car and jump onto the
hood,
like the hood. No, not the hood. The roof, like the top of the car.
Oh, the top of the car.
Try to make its way in. They lost it as they were driving away from where the fuck they were going. And apparently, over the next couple of months, everyone saw this Mothman. The sheriff was like getting people to go out into the woods to try to like shoot this thing. The government's like, no, dude, it's a crane. but like
Yeah.
that was the dumbest explanation ever.
Not just a crane. Now, sorry to interrupt you here, but I'm reading the Wikipedia. Mason County Sheriff George Johnson believed the sightings were due to an unusually large heron he termed a shite poke. A shite poke, which I've never heard before.
No.
Ever. But yeah, I do remember. I remember when this was not like a breaking thing, but when this kind of saw a resurgence as people were getting ready for the 2002 film, you know.
Yeah,
this
there was a movie about it with
Mothman Prophecies or whatever, right?
It was a famous actor, Richard Gere, yeah,
Richard
the
Gere
hamster guy.
Right.
Or was it a guinea pig? I don't know. Anyways.
Yeah.
So it all culminates in people seeing the Mothman around the Silver Bridge,
Right.
which is the bridge that crosses over from Ohio to West Virginia,
Right.
over the river.
Mhm.
There's a river that separates that border right there. Anyways, the bridge collapses, kills a whole bunch of people, and the Mothman is never seen again. So people kind of have this cool mythology where the Mothman is both like either a harbinger of doom or a prophet of, you know, disaster, trying
Sure.
to warn people about, you know, incoming disaster.
Yeah, I have.
Scare them away from sites where you know, death could take place.
Sure. I've heard this. Okay, so Mothman's, I would say, one of the most famous kind of like cryptid / parapsychology things around. I've always thought it was kind of funny how it just, first of all, it's like West Virginia, right? So there's like nothing to do over there. It's like, what is your sighting? It shows up in the road, it chases after you, it jumps on your hood or your roof, scares the shit out of 2 teenagers, and then after that they're like, oh, I saw the Mothman too, right? But what I always really thought was funny was that sightings of the Mothman just completely disappeared after the Silver Bridge collapsed, which leads credence to what you're saying. It's like, yeah, I showed up for like a great catastrophe that I know of. Though the Silver Bridge killed like what,
40 people or something.
40
like that?
people. Okay,
I don't know what the website should have the exact number.
Yeah.
But it's a significant amount of people.
yeah, let me see because what I'm trying to get at is that well, let's just look it up. How many people died when Silver Bridge collapsed? 46 people. Okay, so 46 people died. That's a tremendous loss of life, don't get me wrong. But picture this. This isn't some homeless guy who saw a crack in the bridge and is like, no, you guys got to get off. Ooh. We're talking about like a winged humanoid creature with red eyes who shows up, and prior to the Silver Bridge collapsing, he's like, he doesn't talk that I know of. This mythos doesn't involve him talking or saying anything, but he shows up. People are like, oh shit, it's the Mothman, and then a bridge collapses. You know, like the disconnect between very famous cryptid creature showing up versus, and then a bridge collapse is like, okay, harbinger of doom, harbinger of death, I'm all for that. But this is like, oh, a missile's heading towards the continental United States, and the Mothman's like, shit, you guys. We're gonna, there's like guys, there's a whole ass missile coming this way. It's not even an enemy attack. It could just be like a happenstance. Somebody lost control of a sub, decided, you know, I don't know, San Francisco's like a fucking enemy territory, and then boom, here comes the missile. Mothman's like, fuck you guys, 10,000 people gonna die. Number one, Mothman shows up anywhere. I don't think he's gonna, even knowing he's associated with the collapse of the Silver Bridge, I'm not gonna be like, oh fuck, Mothman's here, that means something bad's gonna happen around me, you know? Like the signs aren't there. I'm gonna be like, Mothman's here, get my gun, right? Like I'm gonna mount this motherfucker on my wall if I hit him. But just saying, it's like, it's just, for me, it just seems like happenstance that Mothman shows up, then bridge collapses. Obviously, we know why the Silver Bridge collapses, and I'm not trying to discredit, you know, Mothman. I just think it's funny. It's not like nuclear reactor goes off, and Mothman was seen seconds before that, and then boom, 10,000 people died, right? So
yeah, I don't even know if it was the same day as the bridge collapsed. I think it might have been a day or so beforehand.
Yeah. I don't. You know, this is also based on a 1975 book. Like what you hear and its connection to the collapse of the Silver Bridge, I've always known that it's associated with this weird Like
Yeah.
it's called a feathery Garuda, which is like nobody knows what a Garuda is, dude. Like if you play
Bird.
Final Fantasy, you know what a Garuda means, but like,
Herb.
it's like a
It's
bird.
a Hindu bird.
Like a bird thing.
Right. So again, I really like Mothman, but
Yeah, and I think less the Mothman himself and more just like the mythos of Mothman, the
Sure.
enduring
sure.
just popularity of Mothman is amazing. Like every time we drive by West Virginia, at least once a year, we stop at the Mothman Museum. We take selfies with the Mothman
Sure.
statue,
It's
and
yeah.
it's
Get
just fun.
photographs
The,
of the mushroom.
the people there, in Point Pleasant,
Mm-hmm.
are not embarrassed by it, which is cool. They're not like, ugh, more tourists here to like bother us about the Mothman.
Mhm.
They've embraced it, and it's this awesome local culture of just like, it's not cynical, but it's definitely sarcastic.
Oh sure.
It's sarcastic in a fun way. It's not like
Mhm.
sarcastic to make fun of you. It's like, this is what we're known for. Fuck it, we've embraced it.
Right. I mean,
And
yeah.
it's great, dude. It's great.
Yeah, I can see kind of like the draw to something like that, you know, like think, and I you guys know I fucking hate Sasquatch Bigfoot shit, but it's kind of like what I see coming from that culture is that that's a little bit more on the nose and a little bit more cringe than say like a local legend of like this monster that shows up
Yeah.
and you know,
It kind of reminds me of the vibe from Roswell.
sure, Roswell being kind of like this the little green men associated with Roswell are like a worldwide cultural representation of
And it's very-
Martians, of like aliens.
It's very tongue-in-cheek for the
Yes.
locals too.
Yeah, because if you ever drive by Roswell, and I've driven by Roswell, New Mexico, if you ever drive by Roswell, they're like, oh, come try some of our little green Martian weed, bro. You know, like Roswell's railings,
What
bro.
else do people even know Roswell for outside of aliens?
Yeah, well, the whole reason why it's known for aliens is because of the fucking military base there, which, by the way, if you guys remember, about 4 years ago, we were like this close to seeing a bunch of fucking Naruto guys get shot to shit because they decided to go to
God,
Roswell.
I wish, dude.
Dude.
I wish that had happened. That would have been
It is the
hilarious and
funniest,
tragic at the same time.
It is the funniest shit that ever happened because everything I ever saw about that instance of Roswell was some guy, reporter, standing in front of a TV, like a camera, reporting to you live now from Roswell, New Mexico, and then immediately some asshole running behind him, Naruto running, is like, and it's like the funniest shit ever. However, the more time passes, the less humor I get out of it, because I remember that this shit started on Reddit and it was like, really?
I just remember the like hilarity of watching the stupidity clash when I got forwarded like the Air Force brief about possible threats, and they're just like, it's like this guy in uniform describing Naruto running
right.
like a room of people, and I'm like, is this real life? This can't be, dude.
Yeah.
This is a joke. I'm being fucked with.
Yeah, he's giving like, I remember seeing like a clip or a video or something. He's just like,
or whatever.
he's giving like a briefing or something, and he's like, yeah, here's what we're expecting to happen. Threat level minimal. You know, there's like one of those things where it's like a little
I
snippet
think
of
the Air
time.
Force had to put out like a tweet or something like, hey, it's like, it's not worth your life, dude.
Yeah.
It's just a meme.
Because
Which was funny because they had automatically signed your death sentence with that statement too. It's like, haha, very funny tweet, but like, we will kill you though.
yeah, they're like, haha, really, really funny. But if you pose a security threat, we're gonna shoot your ass. You know, Roswell has fences and guards, like armed guards all over it. So I'm just saying, again, splitting the distinction between Roswell tongue-in-cheek kind of embraced the culture of little green men versus Sasquatch is like for me, I think it's just this huge fucking grift that got out of control. That's it. Like, you got famous footage of Sasquatches and it's just some
You
fucking...
could say that about a lot of cryptids,
Sure.
unfortunately, though.
Well, only ones that have relevance is what I mean, though, because you know, where's my hide behind merch? You know, like where's my hide behind culture? Like, yeah, let's go into the woods and get dragged off by a monster. Haha. You know, these Sasquatch people would love nothing more than to go into the woods and get torn apart to shreds as they're getting videotaping it, because they're like,
Granny footage videotape from
Right.
a camera from the 90s.
they're like, bro, I found Bigfoot, bro. He's using my legs as drumsticks and beating me to death with them, you know? Like they like that shit. They want to see dangerous 8-foot tall hairy man come out of the woods and kill them. Where I can't say the same about other cryptids. Most cryptids are kind of feared, you know, like reviled, like, oh no, ooh, Jersey Devil. Oh no, I don't want to go anywhere near that.
He's gonna slice your face off.
Yeah.
The hide behind merch isn't really that great. Etsy only has like 2 or 3 things, of which this sticker I think is absolute gold.
Would you look up hide behind merch?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to see this
No,
shirt.
I linked it to you in the chat.
Oh, okay. Dude, this is not what I anticipate looking like the hide behind, you know? Yeah, I like that sticker like a lot. It's really cool. It's gonna get me absolutely no, like it's gonna get me absolutely no recognition. They're gonna think I'm some weird Boogaloo boy or something that's just fucking like posting that shit. For $5, remind me, I'm gonna fucking buy this. I like this. I like this. It's exactly what I mean. It looks like a dog, but it's not a dog. It's standing on 2 legs. It's kind of like this weird color. Like, it's great. You know?
But
It's-
yeah, if you
We've all
search
seen
up
dogs like that.
Sure.
if you look up Bigfoot or the Sasquatch, you will find a lot more merch.
Right. But like I said, I just think it's like this huge grift that got out of control. You know, the reason why
Blame Harry and the Hendersons.
Sure. The reason why I'm so anti Sasquatch is because they can't leave well enough alone. Bigfoot motherfuckers are like, yeah, we know, huge quotes, and know that there's a Bigfoot that lives in the forest. But what if there was one for like the snow and one for like the ocean? What if there was like a river Sasquatch? You know, like when I'm doing my research and just looking up cryptids and stuff like that, you have no idea how much of this fucking Sasquatch shit I have to wade through. It's so cringe. And I hate using that word, but it's so cringe because they're like, I'm listening to a podcast and he's like, yeah, I talked to a guy from Johnson County in Oregon, and he swears he saw a Sasquatch that had webbed feet, and he was swimming along in a little river having a little fun, and then whoop, Sasquatch came out of the Mersquatch, exactly. So
It's just a guy from Liverpool.
right,
That's racist.
sure. So anyways, anything else you want to add about your Mothman thing, Elio?
No, just Mothman's. Oh wait,
Yep.
I can't continue without mentioning Fallout 76.
Right. Which Mothman shows up in there. First time I ran into a Mothman in 76, scared the fuck out of me, dude.
Oh yeah,
Because
That was fun.
they're like, if you've never played 76, they show up. There's a lot of cryptids, actually. That's one thing I'll give that game a lot. They really did their research for
oh, the
cryptids.
snarly gaster scared the fuck out of me.
Yeah, and I also saw the Flatwoods Monster, which we'll get to.
So, are we considering aliens
No,
cryptids for this?
no. And I'll tell you why. And in 76, the Flatwoods Monster is depicted as an alien. However, the Flatwoods Monster, if you guys don't know what that is, it's a 2-part conversation. It's right here. This is kind of like what the Flatwoods Monster is. I wouldn't say that this one is famous, but people think it's an owl. It's pretty easy to just call anything an owl. But you've seen this, I'm sure, like this weird kind of thing. And I'll tell you where I first learned about this. It says it right here. For some reason, it shows up in fucking Majora's Mask. I was like, what is this? This is so
really?
weird. Yeah, it does. It's the aliens that come out of the sky and kidnap Romania or her sister. I forget what her name is. If you fuck up, they drag her up into the sky and she's never seen again for that run.
Oh yeah, I remember that now.
So
Then
they,
she comes back and then she's all dazed.
yeah, she's all like fucked up. She's like, you know, catatonic essentially.
Mhm.
So I remember looking these up because I was like, what is this? And believe it or not, the Flatwoods Monster shows up in a lot of Japanese media, like as a weird monster cryptid thing. But the origins of the Flatwoods Monster is like in debate. Like, yeah, they saw it here, and then, you know, maybe it could have been a meteor, like an owl. And so, anyways, just identify it by sight because this is what the Flatwoods Monster looks like. It's typically got like a kind of a pointy head. It's colorful, etc., etc., etc. But in 76, they show up as traditional aliens. They're aliens, literally. they're called the Flatwoods Monster, but they're aliens. Like, you can tell that they're the weird Fallout aliens that just came down from the sky. So, yes, for the purposes of this conversation, aliens are not cryptids. Unless somehow we find out about a cryptid that came from the sky, landed on Earth, and that's...
Man.
Sure.
Jesus.
Sure. All of these are valid answers as far as I'm concerned. Anything other than Sasquatch shit, dude. It's all I care. It's all I ask. All right?
Space Squatch.
Thank you. Thank you. I will ask you not to play around with the Sasquatch mythos like an evolution happening from Pokemon. Like, yeah, we put the Sasquatch in a volcano. We got Volcano Squatch.
We got Magma Squatch.
We got Magma Squatch, which evolves into fucking Lava Squatch. Please, dude, I'm begging you.
We got Dragon Squatch.
God, dude, please just be. That's the thing I hate about cryptid kind of culture, is that it's so easy for you to be like, yeah, Johnny Bobani saw a big lizard in the woods, and that's a cryptid. It's like, no, it's just a big lizard. Yeah, I draw the distinction at slightly bigger than average animal as a cryptid. It can't be. We can't include both Flatwoods monster style monsters and Gila monster that's maybe a little bit bigger than average, you know? So, anyways, yeah, 76 is great for cryptids. I was like kind of like a tourist when I was playing it. I was like, oh my god, the Sallygaster, you know? Like, oh my god, the Flatwoods monster. Oh, like, again, yeah. For what it is, West Virginia is a good place for cryptids, and there are quite a bit of cryptids there because I mean the Flatwoods monsters from West Virginia too. So either way, okay, who wants to go next? If you don't have one, I will assign you one because I am a weirdo that knows about cryptids.
All right, so I misunderstood the homework, and I chose the Jiangxi, you know, because I'm a Chinese weeb.
Sure, Jiangxi,
Chinese jumping vampires.
Chinese
1 foot.
Chinese hopping vampires. This is like a fucking Rushia from Hololive, but like, okay. So for the purposes of this, a Jiangxi is just a vampire. Vampires are not cryptids. However, for some fucking reason, werewolves get lumped in with cryptids. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right at all. Are werewolves
not cryptid?
Yeah, right. Are werewolves real? Fuck off. Are werewolves?
Werewolves a native. I thought that was a Native American thing.
See, this is what I mean. The werewolf has a very. It gets lumped in with the chupacabra, for Christ's sake. Like,
chupacabra is a goat sucker.
Yeah, right. We know what the chupacabra is. It's just a vampire bat.
Wait, did you guys bring up chupacabra?
Yeah. Why?
Nothing.
Okay. Yeah.
That's not who I was gonna pick.
Okay.
I don't love goat sucking.
Great. Awesome. let's let that one slide. The Jiangxi.
My personal favorite. The chupacabra.
Chupacabra? Are you kidding me? Yeah, Jiangxis are cool. Senko from Darkstalkers is my first introduction to Jiangxis.
I always forgot about them.
She's quite literally just that. She's got like two different, you know, this is where I learned about Jiangxis personally. This makes sense because this Darkstalkers is big on like horror style icon.
Mythology.
Right. Talbane and all that. So okay, so if you don't have any other cryptids off the top of your head that sound like a Jiangxi?
Well, I mean, we could always do Slender Man.
Okay. I don't know if I would count. Let's see.
I mean, it blew up really popular really popular for a while.
Yeah.
Ooh, got some girls killed because of it.
Oh yeah. See, that's the real horror out of that shit. We're gonna take a look at this.
The Slender Man.
Again, I
hot dogs on the stove.
I would not put Siren Head in cryptids, and I'll tell you why.
No.
I know the guy that I don't personally know him, but I know the guy that made Siren Head. He's always big on like, yeah, use Siren Head, just attribute me to your stuff, right? Because it's just art that got popular. By the way, off the top of my head, Siren Head is like a dumb concept. I think it's scary in presentation, but when you hear about it, it's like, yeah, it's just really fast. It runs at you and it picks you up and it kills you. Kind of boring.
Real life.
Yeah, it's just kind of boring is what I'm saying. Like, all of these. This is a weird article. I'm kind of regretting clicking on this article now, but so. The real life tragedy of the Slender Man is like where the real horror is. Slender Man was never scary, even when it was just on /X, and people were like losing their shit because somebody edited like a faceless man into a picture. That's how this whole shit started. If you don't know, Slender Man was just like, oh my god, you guys, I saw a picture of Slendy Man in this old school like picture from way back when, and it's just like it looks like this
realistic blood.
Yeah, it looks like this. Like I don't know where he is in this picture, but it's like he gets attributed a lot to the Pied Piper because the Pied Piper like stole children.
Yes.
When they tried to stiff him for leading the rats away from whatever.
Dick move, but
yeah, the Pied Piper of Hamlin, he's like, yeah, okay, you don't want to pay me, I'm gonna take your fucking kids, right? And then they're like, oh shit, okay, I guess we'll pay you. So he gets kind of lumped in with that. But these pictures right here on the right, this is what I remember from the original /X like threads. They're like, yeah, I don't know. I guess for the purposes of this, you can say that it's a cryptid. It shows up kind of like in mythology and stuff like that. What is a cryptid if not just kind of like something that a folklore that got popular and then was unexplainable? Most of the cryptids are kind of humanoid anyways. Like I'll let it slide mostly because it fits the criteria, but it's just so cringe nowadays to be like
it's Jeff the Killer.
Yeah, like you look up Jeff the Killer. By the way, avert your eyes if you've never seen Jeff the Killer. It's one of those things. Like you look up Jeff the Killer and we know where this picture came from now. We know.
We do?
Yeah, we do know where this picture came
we
from.
figured
Now.
it out?
Yeah, we figured it out, and it was like original image. We found out like a couple months ago. It's this like, it's like this weirdo goth lady that was taking a picture of herself or something, and then somebody just edited it and then just dropped it on the internet, and then they're like, "Hey, isn't this scary?" And I'm like, "No, no." But the face is like, this is early internet we're talking about, right? So
Yeah, that's back in the day stuff.
yeah, this is back in the day stuff. So Jeff the Killer was like they would just be like to try to. You start a thread, you post a picture of Jeff the Killer, you're like, hey guys, I heard that XYZ, we're talking about 4chan shit still because that's where all this shit started. And it's like, hey guys, I heard somebody went missing in XYZ town. This is the last picture we found on this person's camera roll. Isn't this scary? And then like 90 messages of somebody calling you like the N word or calling you the R word. And then one guy's like, yeah, I heard about that too. And then suddenly the thread's like, oh fuck, Jeff the Killer, dude. Oh fuck, right?
It's real.
It's real and it's scary. But again, we know where this original image came from. Like,
so that's where I think the distinction of urban myths and cryptids comes into play.
Because it wouldn't be a cryptid. This is just a fucking picture on the internet.
I would put Slender Man under urban myth.
Right.
Same as this.
Okay. So in that case, I'm gonna assign you one, Shia, just so we can both learn together. In your case, you're kind of like a boonies kind of guy. You live in the boonies, right? So I'm gonna assign you the Loveland Lake Monster. How about that? Frog monster.
It's a frog kid.
Frogman.
Frog kid.
No, this is what the Loveland frog is like. Okay. This is right. Okay. Again, it's standing upright. It's like this weird fucking big frog monster, right? But okay.
We've all had those days.
We've all had these days where you just wake up and you're going for your drink of water and you look like the Loveland frog, right? You're like, oh fuck, I gotta get some water in me. I gotta piss. Okay. So essentially, the Loveland frog is just like somebody saw a fucking huge frog in the middle of nowhere, right? And they called the cops, and when the cops got there, he's like, yeah, I saw a fucking huge frog. It was crouched like a frog, like this thing says, and then it went over the guardrail and then it just ran away. That's it. That's all we have for the fucking Loveland frog. However, you know, the deeper we go into these cryptid things, the worse and worse it gets, because it's like, how many of these cryptids are just, I saw an animal who was doing something that it shouldn't be, and also maybe it was standing on two legs.
A lot of animals will stand on two legs sometimes.
Right. So the Loveland frog is just like, when I saw it, other people compare it to Paul Bunyan, which is like, why the fuck would you do that? Paul Bunyan was like a real mythological guy. Like he had a purpose. He was kind of like this folklore hero. I really like Paul Bunyan's mythos, like legend. If you never read about it, it's really popular. And you travel on the interstate, like from state to state, dude, you'd be surprised at how many fucking Paul Bunyan statues you're just gonna see on the side of the road. And it's not even just like, hey, we're putting this next to a diner or a gas station. Like, I'll just see them in the middle of the fucking forest, like just standing there. And I'm like, why? Who made this? Why did you do this? But the Paul Bunyan American folklore thing is like really good. I like the story behind it and everything. But we're not here to talk about historical 12, maybe 20-foot men who hung out with the blue ox. We're talking about this dumb shit frog who is probably an iguana, like this thing, and that some boony hick cop saw, and he's like, fuck, this is an 8-foot tall frog monster, and then that's it. Nothing happens. Like, nothing happens.
Pepe.
It could have been back when, right? But you know,
before it got popular.
Sure. I mean, you look it up and you got different, like, this is AI art. We're not going there, but like there's a Cincinnati, like, what is this? Like, is this a fraud? Like there's a whole ass article. Somebody was playing Pokemon Go when he saw the Loveland frog monster. Like, come on. Like, but again, it's one of those little, like, the little microcosms of these weird cryptids that just happen. Like, the Wikipedia article for the Loveland frog monster is no more longer than the hide behind, but it's just this big, like, it's just a big frog. He didn't even hurt anyone. He just like showed up and he left. And yet fucking 30 years later, we're over here talking, 40 years later, we're talking about him and he's like, yeah, ooh, right? So that's what you got. The Loveland.
Sounds like our police, the guy who called the police, may have been experimenting with ayahuasca.
Yeah, he could have been. I mean, that's the place to do it. But yeah, okay, I got two more left here. Who wants to go next?
The frog of miscellaneous.
The fart frog of miscellaneous. Nice. We got fucking RuneScape shit. Nice. All right. So let's look at a cryptid list here, and I'll just.
I got one.
Oh, you got one. Okay.
The Chinese. I don't know if it counts as a cryptid.
Let's hear
It's
it.
good. The Chinese one is called a Zenyao.
Zenyao.
Zhenniao.
Henn.
Sang Xiao?
Yeah, the Chinese poison bird.
Oh, okay. Jiang. Spell it for me again.
I'll just type it. I'll just type it in chat.
Okay. Xianhiao. Okay. Let's take a look.
What was Zhen?
Poison feather bird, Chinese myth, animal, poetry. Okay.
Yeah, apparently its feathers were also poisonous and highly addictive,
That's really funny.
and they may have existed at some point, but probably not,
Okay.
because that's not how feathers work.
Yeah, and that's also not kind of how birds work. That I know of, there's not really many poisonous birds that have ever existed.
No.
Poisonous
Wait till poisonous bird.
birds. Most birds are not carnivores, you know? They're opportunistic carnivores that I know of, but I mean,
Yeah.
you know, there's a Wikipedia article here of toxic birds, so maybe, you know,
Maybe.
it makes sense, but let's keep reading about this. Well, abdomen, green tip feathers, poison attributes from devouring the heads of poisonous vipers. Okay, so this is kind of the mythology of, how did this poisonous bird get poisonous? Well, it wasn't born that way. Apparently, he just got an unnatural hankering for vipers, dude. He just can't get enough of them. So
munching them all down.
Have you guys ever seen? While I'm reading this, I thought of a meme. Have you ever seen that meme of like comparing Chinese history to like more Western history?
Yeah.
The flying panda battalion fights General show of the royal dragons, 4 trillion people.
Yeah, 4 trillion people die. Like the landscape is irrevocably damaged because of so many people fucking dying. Like every time I look up something from a dynasty or something in China, it's like, yeah, General Zhu assumes power. 45 million people die. So, poison, unparalleled potency, assassinations. Man, a lot of people in the Chinese history just get poisoned left and right. Like they're just fucking dying to poison.
It's a good way to get rid of people. So.
Which reminds me again of that one meme, a Chinese one where it's like, what was it? It's something like some guy declares himself immortal and says he's gonna go into the mountains for 100 years.
Yeah. One guy says that he's stupid and he just gets executed.
Yeah, he's like the emperor's.
He was tortured.
Yeah, Emperor Zhao or whatever called him stupid and tortured him to death. Okay, so then yeah. See, I like the idea of like this weird, if this isn't really an accurate depiction of it, and if this is what it is, I've seen this bird before. Like I've seen it show up. I like the idea that it's just like, it's just simple enough, but also cool enough to be like, yeah, it's just a weird bird that's poisonous, you know? Like
it eats snakes.
Typically kind of depicted, this is BL, this is BL, this is BL, this is BL.
Yeah. Like depicted with green feathers.
Right.
Feathers.
Most, like, it's hard to kind of separate if this is what it looks like. This is cool. This looks like a cryptid, you know? It's kind of like this weird, and I think this is pretty close to what it's supposed to look like, because this bird is neighing a viper. This is image, dude. This viper's
like a crane or something.
Sure, like, because this viper's having a bad day, dude. This viper's having
that viper's having the last day, dude.
Yeah, dude. He's like, fuck, dude. I shouldn't have gotten. I shouldn't have.
Oh yeah, leave the burrow. They said.
Yeah, I shouldn't have tried for a greater
I
station
know.
in
They
life.
said has some delicious eggs. They said.
This is cool. Like,
get on by a crane.
You know, mythological creature is pretty much anything that's just kind of like outlandish, supernatural. But for me, this is just a really nice criteria because it looks like a cryptid, and it has these weird cryptid-like abilities, like the poison and the resistance and stuff. Like, this is really cool, actually. I don't know so much about. If you go back to the Wikipedia page here, they were apparently supposed to have all been killed by people, you know?
Yeah, that's about right.
So, which is fine. That's the most realistic part about cryptids, is like, one day they're just we're like, yeah, we found Sasquatch. What happened? Well, he over pollution just fucking killed it, dude. We ate him. Some guy, some Johnny Bobani from down the road shot a man because he thought he was trespassing or trying to abduct his daughters, and then he just like, this is like a fucking bear. I guess I'm gonna eat it, right? And that was how we found out that Sasquatch is real, because fucking got shot by a 22.
Sasquatch.
Yeah, like Johnny shot him with a 22 and then just fucking killed it, and that's it. So, but yeah, you know, poisonous birds. At the very least, I learned about that, because I really didn't think birds had it in them to be poisonous, like for real.
There's a few.
Okay. So yeah, and
I
again,
couldn't name them, but off the top of my head, there's a few.
well, it looks like there's a handful, but let's check out this birds in Chinese mythology. Yeah,
That's peacock.
yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's not a myth.
sure.
We don't know that for sure.
We don't know that for sure. Have you ever seen a peacock in real life?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Never mind.
Actually, yes.
Disregard.
People
Disregard.
keep me hints.
I have a friend who has a like a bird sanctuary, and he keeps several very nice looking birds. Like, I'm consistently reminded that we get to see like the B list of fucking birds.
Yep.
All over the world, in like these shitty shades of like tan and brown, but there are some actually beautiful birds out in existence, and none of them live where you and I can find them.
No, of course not. Okay. So Sam, you're the last one.
Wait, go down.
What?
Why is the eastern cougar
That's what I'm saying. This is what I
It's a
mean.
real ass animal.
This is what I mean. What I say about cryptids, Elio, this is what I'm talking about. Like, weird animal in a weird spot is not a cryptid. You know, it's fucking right above the Dover. It's right below the Dover demon, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, there's a British cryptid that's just a jaguar.
Yeah, like, dude.
It's on this list.
It's
a Mongolian.
the Nandi bear. Like this is a real. The Tasmanian tiger is not a fucking cryptid. It is an extinct animal. I think it's extinct, actually. Maybe it's not.
The Mongolian death worm is bad. That is absolutely probably one of the saddest things that there's no death metal band I know called the Mongolian death worm.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be fucking scared if I saw this shit in real life, dude. Like this is fucking terrifying, dude. Holy shit, dude. Like, just put aside the fucking weirdo Dune references for a second and be like, holy fuck. I'd be scared to meet a giant red worm in the middle of the desert. Oh hell no, dude. If this is what it's like, sign me the fuck up for staying away from it.
For sure.
All right, Tim, cryptid.
I said it's chupacabra.
Oh, it is a chupacabra? You were being real about that?
Yeah, dude.
Okay. Where's the chupacabra?
Come on, bro.
First of all, chupacabra does not look like the Maid Man, okay?
Well, the problem is that originally when it was described in Puerto Rico, it was more like an alien like that.
Right.
But then over time in Mexico, it turned more into like a fucked up, whack-looking dog.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen the chupacabra more traditionally, like, depicted as a dog versus an alien.
Yeah, that's the newer one. In the 90s, it used to be that weird alien-looking thing.
Yeah, and this, if somebody comes at me and tells me they saw this in the middle of the field, not gonna believe that shit. Not gonna believe that shit. But somebody tells me they see something like this in the middle of the field, I'm gonna believe that shit. I'm gonna believe that a dog with mange is killing goats and eating them and sucking their blood out.
It looks like a Jolo.
Right.
Well, that's the African wild dog.
Right. Versus this. You know, like, what the fuck is this? It's like, what do you mean you saw a merman on two legs? You know?
That's Cletus.
Cletus needs to get off my farm. Anyways, the chupacabra is like this. Puerto Rico was like the original point of contact, but in Mexico, even out in the boonies of like Sonora, every once in a while I hear people talk about the chupacabra. Out in Sonora, at the very least, it's just vampire bats. They're just bats. They go up to cattle, they like scrape them and they lick the blood off of them, they fly off. That's how they get their sustenance. It's just vampire bats. The closer you approach to a four-legged creature as a cryptid that resembles a dog, the more likely it is that it's just a dog. That it's a wild dog or some sort of rabid dog or something that killed a goat. And how would you even see something like this kills one of your goats, right? You hear the commotion, you go outside, you're like, oh fuck, what's happening? Goats, right? Gotta protect my goats. You see something like this and it's standing over the corpse of a goat, probably on two legs, maybe. I don't know. In this case, probably not, because the chupacabra, again, the one I know, is the four-legged creature. And it's standing over the corpse of a goat, and you're like looking at it and you're like, holy shit, that thing was sucking its blood. It's like, no, dude, that thing killed it and ate it. Like, there is no instance where I ever come across a creature in the field and it's just holding onto a goat like a fucking baby bottle pop, and it's like, oh, yum yum yum, here comes the blood. Like, the chupacabra, it has one form of food delivery. It's baked into the name, which is it sucks goats. And everything I've ever seen about the chupacabra depicts them as killing and eating goats. But you don't call it the mata y comete la cabra, you know? Like, it's the chupacabra. So that's what I'm saying. Like, the mythos of this thing is like, okay, it's probably just a dog, but it's fine. Cryptids are just, you know.
All cryptids are dogs.
All cryptids very well could be dogs, but like, look, like, chupacabra is like one of the more famous ones. It's really funny that there's an episode of South Park that calls it the chupacabra. That is really funny. But yeah, you see it all over the place. Like, it's X-Files, the Grimm series, Futurama, like all these other things. Like, yeah, I get it. But this is traditionally the chupacabra is what I've seen it depicted on is a quadrupedal. I don't know how you say it, but chupacabra. I've typically seen it depicted as this versus this, like dog versus weird alien sea creature. Okay, like this and this and this. Like these are all plausible explanations for what is essentially just a dog that was hungry and killed a goat. Done. But you try to push this shit on me? Like what the fuck is this? It's like, no, this I've also seen as a chupacabra. I've seen this one. This one's kind of like a mix between the dog. Yeah. This is just fucking fan fiction. This is like a death claw, for Christ's sake.
Death claw, yeah.
Oh, you know. So these are not what I'm expecting when I look up chupacabra.
Chupacabra salami.
Sure. This is like your weird.
What is that?
Where do you see it? Here?
Right there, baby.
Yeah, this looks dumb as fuck. What do we know about the chupacabra? Great question, Walmart.
What the hell?
It looks like this weirdo kid's book. This is a kind of a scary concept for a chupacabra, to be honest with you. Like, his head doesn't match the rest of his body, but it's fine. Like, this is not scary. Like, this is like a porcupine, a furry's interpretation of a porcupine, you know?
Right.
So some of these are like, what the fuck? Why? What is this? Is this what made the sea and the Aztecs thing? This is not scary. This is like
this is like someone's furry.
Yeah, this is like a fucking Scaly's interpretation of their stand from JoJo.
I'll be back in a couple minutes.
All right.
Man.
So, okay. So we got the hide behind. We got the Mothman. We've got Loveland Frog, the Zhenhao, and the Chupacabra. Okay. Now that we've had an extended conversation about cryptids, you'll notice that I pulled up a little draw pad here. And the thought exercise that I want you guys to have, and I'll start with mine, is cryptids traditionally are depicted as animals, right?
Yeah, usually.
How would you defend yourself from your chosen cryptid? Like, what do you think would hurt your chosen cryptid the most? And you can't say bullets because that's the answer to everything. It has to be fire. Okay, I'll accept fire, but we'll get to yours. All right. Number one thing.
Current pollution.
So here's where current pollution is also an acceptable answer. Here's where we'll start with the distinctions, right? You can say bullets. I was just joking about that. Of course, bullets are gonna kill more cryptids. Maybe not. Like, for example, I'll start hide behind, right? It's just kind of like this weird dog. That looks like a penis. Like dog that's hiding behind like a tree or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's your tree or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. I'm right here. I see a hide behind like that. I'm gonna shoot the shit out of it.
I was gonna say just nuke the forest.
I'm gonna shoot the shit out of it. I can't nuke the forest because
there's no trees. You can't hide behind it.
Okay, this is me. I've drawn myself with an AT4. I don't know why I did that. I was going for more like a rifle. But anyways, here's a rocket heading right towards that bad boy.
The alien pulse rifle.
Yeah, it's an alien pulse rifle. This is me right here. I'm just gonna third leg myself right there. So the hide behind's hiding there. I see it in time. The mythos of the hide behind is that it's you don't really see it, right? It stalks you. Number one, you gotta be really deaf to not hear something in the woods. Like, we're not talking about I'm near a busy freeway and I'm hearing weird noises. Like, no, we're talking about I'm in the woods. Woods are traditionally pretty quiet. I hear something around me. I'm gonna turn around. I'm gonna look at it. Now, whether or not it's on my ass before I saw it, that's a different thing. But if I hear it or I hear something, I don't have a say in it. I'm gonna turn around and look at the point of origin of the sound. That's just how human beings are, right? So, in my depiction of how I would defend myself from the hide behind, I have a rifle because I'm in the woods and I'm never gonna go into the woods without a gun, right? Suicide. And I see the hide behind and I shoot his ass. 9 times out of 10, feel like that's gonna work. However, one thing to consider is it's hiding behind a tree, which means that most of its body is sheltered by the tree, and tree bullets typically don't go through trees at all, like at all. So
Unless you have a very high caliber round.
in this case, I'm gonna err on the side of believability. I'm not gonna have a high caliber round because in this scenario, if I really want to defend myself, I'm carrying fucking 500 blackout or something, you know, like I'm carrying a 500 cartridge, 300, 308.
I'm carrying something that's gonna blow my arm off.
Right, I'm gonna carry something that just like disintegrates my arm when I shoot it. But realistically, probably carrying like a, I don't know, 30-06 or something. Elio, what's the hunting caliber?
30-06 works.
30-06. So I'm carrying 30-06 or something, right? It's big enough to kill. I would say a 30-06 bullet is big enough to kill a hide behind. All right.
Yeah,
300 Magnum.
I mean, a hide behind looks like it probably has the same frame as like a cougar or a jaguar.
Sure.
I would say 30-06 once or twice to the chest or the face would probably put the hide behind as a hide below.
Hide below. So things to consider about the hide behind as I'm defending myself. Number one, apparently it's supposed to be pretty quick. It's supposed to be able to like jump at you and drag you. Apparently it's also weak to alcohol, according to the mythos. So I just dip my bullets in alcohol because I'm anticipating a fight with a hide behind, or I'm in the forest. I got a gun. Obviously that means I have beer on me or alcohol. I don't drink, but I gotta fit stereotype somehow, right? I think a hide behind is gonna come at me, dude. I douse my shit on
Hanging out
alcohol.
with Cletus in the woods.
Yeah, and Cletus is like, yeah, I heard my great uncle got dragged by a big scary dog in the middle of the forest and we never found his body. I'm like, dude, that's a fucking hide behind. I'm bringing alcohol. Fair. All right. So guns and alcohol. That's what my defense is against the hide behind. And I fucking nay this thing with 308 or 30-06. All right. Elio, Mothman, in the middle of your chosen area, which is West Virginia. How would you defend yourself? Go.
Jesus. I'm assuming the Mothman is coming after me.
The Mothman is, you're the teenager in the car, then the Mothman is like on the roof of your car.
Damn. Am I well prepared for this, or is this just like a in the moment thing?
You're in West Virginia and you live in that area, so you tell me, how likely are you to have a gun on you while you're out in the middle of the woods, like in...
Is this a real question? Is this a real question?
This is what I'm asking you.
I have a gun on me when I'm going to the grocery store, let alone going to the woods.
Okay, so you're armed most times in your life. We're talking about you specifically versus your cryptid, and in this case, you're typically armed. Okay, Elio?
If I'm going to the woods, there are 3 weapons I usually bring with me. Not all 3 of them at once, mind you, but a choice of weapon.
Right.
One being a pistol and 9mm.
Okay, I don't think that's gonna cut it.
The other being my Turkish Benelli M4 clone.
Okay, I would say that would cut it.
That is why I take it into the woods, is because I figure if there is a cougar or a coyote, which usually don't fuck with you anyway, but wolves. There's been sightings of wolves.
Yeah.
Usually not this far down south, but people have seen them.
Fucking
I figure anything smaller than a mountain lion probably doesn't want to fuck with a semi-automatic 12 gauge.
Okay, so you've got
That is why I bring that with me.
So you've got a semi-automatic shotgun.
The last one is a hunting rifle in 308.
Okay, so you got which one of those do you most likely? Okay, what Mothman's on your roof?
If I'm going to fuck around in the woods, it's probably my shotgun, simply because it is very loud and the ammo is cheap.
Okay,
So if I want to scare off a bear or something, I can shoot 2 or 3 times. It shoots very fast. It's cheap ammo. That's what I take with me.
Okay, so the Mothman is on the roof of your car, and you're having this fucked up, like, you're having a bad day, right? Because first it landed on the road, and I know you, typically. It's just you, maybe. Maybe there's no other teenager there. Or there's nobody else there.
I would try to hit it with a car.
Okay, you try to hit it with a car, right?
Yeah.
Now, keeping in mind, in this scenario, you're trying to hit a winged creature with a car.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds.
I mean, it could just jump. That I know
sounds
of.
juice to me.
Okay, the Mothman
can't
could just
fly up.
fly. I guess it has a recovery period on its flying. Maybe. I don't know. But the point is, your options are hit it with a car. That doesn't work. Shoot it with your gun. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're gonna look at the. I'm gonna see if there's actually any like fucking weakness here that it has, but I really don't think as a humanoid creature, I assume that it doesn't look armored, it looks furry, so therefore I'm gonna give you that hitting it with your car, if you manage to even fucking make contact with it, with your car, is gonna hurt it or kill it, and shooting at it, if you manage to hit it with your bullets, I'm gonna guess it's gonna kill it. Because it doesn't look armored, and I don't care how fast this motherfucker can fly, I'm pretty sure he cannot outfly a bullet.
No, I would hope you can't.
So this is, I'm gonna draw you shooting your shotgun up. There's not your penis. Then we're gonna pretend that's boom right here. Look at that. You see that? This bullet's going right through this Mothman as he's on the roof of your car. Because tell me, give it to me straight, Elio. Huge ass Mothman lands on top of your roof. Just lands right on that bad boy, right? You're fearing for your life, I assume so, because this is a huge ass Mothman. Are you or are you not, in this scenario that I've drawn on here expertly, are you or are you not going to try to shoot through your roof?
I really like my car.
Okay, but do you like it so much that you're unwilling to try to defend yourself? Also, would it even go through whatever you have loaded in your shotgun? Would it even go through the fucking roof of your car?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
You'd be amazed how cars are. They're not fragile.
Right.
You can shoot a car several times before it'll go down.
Sure.
There's a lot of myths about what cars can and can't do, and like using your vehicle as cover is actually part of a course we took. Funny enough, out in West Virginia.
That's so funny.
A couple weeks ago.
Yeah, but that I know of, you're supposed to take cover in the front of the car because that's where the engine is, right?
Yep. Yeah. So, common wisdom there. The engine block will protect you from the vast majority of bullets.
Right.
But if you are not crouched low enough, it'll go right through a hood. It'll go right through the doors. It'll go right through the windows. It'll go right through the trunk.
Mm-hmm.
As I found out when I got to shoot a car a lot for like 2 days straight, it was very fun. Also, the engine will keep running for like 15 to 20 minutes with like several AK rounds and 5.56 rounds right through the engine block.
That's really funny.
But the roof of the car is absolutely like paper thin.
Okay.
Like, there's a reason why the Arquebus just fucking slam dunked on Knights.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like a non-rifled projectile coming out of a fucking metal pipe.
Right.
So,
Willy, what were you saying?
yeah, I love my car, but we're dunking on the Mothman.
Okay, so you're
Yeah. Cars are very sturdy.
Okay.
You can't really blow up a car just by shooting at it unless it's, a rocket.
Unless it's like a Pinto Lamau.
Mm-hmm.
Use Dragon's Breath rounds
Nice.
and hit the gas tank.
Nice. Okay, so Elio, you are shooting through the roof of your car to try to hit Mothman.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I would accept if you could catch it, car. If you can catch it, which you can, because there's bullets, and no fucking cryptid is gonna outfly a bullet. I don't care how fucking fast they are. We can shoot eagles out of the sky, for Christ's sake, dude. This Mothman's like 8 foot tall. You're gonna hit it, right? It's like, you'll be fine. Anyways, Sia, your turn. You're defending yourself from the Loveland Frog. You yourself as a person.
I say hello and wave him about to go on his way. He's not a violent.
Honestly, I 100% accept that answer because
Yeah.
the Loveland Frog that I know of just shows up, does nothing, and then goes away.
Why would you mess?
Right.
Why would you mess with
Right,
it?
would you mess with it? Exactly. Because the hide behind and the Mothman are potentially violent. I know for a fact if the hide behind was real, everything we have about him is that it drags you into its lair and kills you. Great. Mothman, violent encounters on his first sighting, right? It shows up on your hood, the hood of your car, or you're the roof of your car. It's trying to do something to you, goes away, right? Potentially violent, not running that risk. But the Loveland Frog, he just shows up. He just shows up, and then he goes away.
Imagine how much money you'd get for killing the frog.
Yeah, well,
Or capturing the frog.
Maybe capturing the frog, sure, because it'd be a great boon. But look at this dude. He's half your size, dude. He's not violent. I could pick this.
He looks like you just caught him opening the fucking refrigerator in the middle of the night. You're like, oh
yeah.
Hey frog, that's my birthday cake.
Look, he's lost. He's a lost, poor cryptid who's really just non-violent. Frogs are like fucking herbivores, anyways. Well, not really, because they eat flies.
They're insectivores.
They're insectivores or whatever. Omnivores? I don't know. I don't know if they eat plants. I know they eat insects, but I don't know if they eat plants. Anyways, doesn't matter. I don't think they have the ability to do anything other than just directly put things into their mouth and then swallow it. I don't think they can chew. They don't have teeth.
No, they don't.
So
there's a Japanese beetle that basically when it gets eaten, it speed runs through the
intestines and crawls up area.
Yeah,
that's so funny.
Before it gets digested.
That's so funny. But yeah, I will accept wave at it goodbye and wish it a happy day because it is a non-violent cryptid. You don't have to defend yourself from it. This is a good answer because you don't have to defend yourself from it. There's nothing there to defend yourself from because it's non-violent and he's just a lad who was caught out of his element and he went back home.
Going about his business.
He just went back home afterwards. It's a good answer. I'm gonna draw you waving goodbye to the Loveland Frog.
Good answer though, yeah.
Nah, have him hug the Loveland Frog.
No, dude, because I don't know. I feel like
It's nice and slimy.
Would you want to hug the Loveland Frog?
I would.
No, Shia?
I would hold the Loveland Frog because
Okay.
I've held frogs before. But
Okay. You. It doesn't surprise me that you would want to hold the frog, Sam. But
I mean, this took its opportunity of a lifetime. You get to hug a
I know.
frog.
I'm just saying. Where's the
Make a toad stack of Loveland frogs.
Here. Okay. I'm gonna depict you as holding a Loveland Frog right here. Watch this. Like that, and then like that. And he's got these two little legs right here. And then he's like that and like that. That's the Loveland Frog right there, dude. He's got his big eye right there. And you're helping him get over the guardrail, dude. The guardrail's like right here. He's trying to go home. You're like, yeah, dude. Here you go. Back into the forest you go. Right there, dude. Perfect. What a beautiful story, honestly. Because you didn't try to hurt it. You didn't try to defend yourself. You saw right through my bullshit and you're like, dude, I'm going to help him go home. I'm going to wave. I'm going to hug him. I'm going to lift him and help him go home. Now, having said that, Willy, how are you going to kill this dumbass poison bird?
I'm not gonna just ignore it. So it's not like it doesn't seem like it's attacks humans.
I am going to take a look at its thing. I'm going to believe
to pluck its feathers and get immortality.
that's kind of like
kill poison? No, thank you.
You have to shoot yourself with small poisons.
What? Yeah, word. There it is. Okay, so let's see. If it's violent, then you're gonna have to defend yourself. If it's not violent, then I will also accept. You need
Just give it some bread.
Poison.
Bread.
Wow.
That's empty carbs, dude. The bird is going to attack you for trying to poison it.
Yeah. I don't see. I think it.
Yeah.
I don't see that it was.
Assuming it's not an angry disposition.
Yeah, I think it's just dangerous to vipers, which we already found out anyways. I think you're okay to just ignore it. Because if it shows up,
it's in China.
Yeah, sure, but in this scenario, you're in China too, I guess. How horrifying, right? But if you're like there and you see this green fucking huge bird in your, you know, like this thing. I mean, I don't. This looks like a monster hunter monster. I think
chocobo. Yeah.
If you see something like this or I don't know, there's so many different depictions of this, but we're gonna stick with this one. I like this one. If you see this and it's like naying a viper and the viper is doing like the Tom and Jerry scream as it's fucking like dying.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna thank this bird for saving me from the actually real deadly violent viper because vipers are pieces of shit, right? And this thing is like, this is how I maintain my poison quota, bro. I eat vipers. Okay, bye, and it just leaves. Like there's no indication that this thing would attack you.
You're making a nice little venom viper casserole.
I think I'd be okay with that. Like, I think I'd be okay with you if you knew this thing was in your backyard and you're like, I'm just gonna ignore it. I have a feeling you'd get away with that without it being a big issue, because it's just eating vipers. He's just eating snakes. That's all he cares about. Okay, I'm gonna depict you as waving at the weird green ostrich. You got this weird cowboy saunter to you, and you're just like waving at him, and he's like this fucking big ostrich that's like green. He's got like that, and he's like that. He looks like a deformed moose, and he's like
This is the best of us.
that, and he's got like in his beak right here, he's got like this fucking viper, and this viper's screaming his little head off. He's like, holy shit, save me. And you're like, fuck you, viper. All right, now Sam, how are you gonna defend yourself from the chupacabra?
I'm not a goat, so I'm going to
sure?
follow the chupacabra around, and I am going to get free goat meat for burial.
Now, here's my question to you. Why is this in the American Museum? Whatever. Okay. Seriously?
Out of this world.
Oh, God. Action
The world
figures.
came to suck on our goats.
Okay. I'm gonna guess. I think you're right. I don't think.
You don't really attack humans.
Yeah, I don't think they attack humans. I don't think they would.
It's a hungry boy.
Maybe if he. What if he is hungry though? Like if I said the Loveland Frog Monster was hungry, I still don't think he would attack humans. And if I think the Xinyao.
Well, I'll have the 12 gauge shotgun just in case.
Okay. All instances, all interpretations of this chupacabra monster that I see, 100%, I think bullets would kill it.
Oh yeah.
I have
It's
no.
just a dog creature.
If it's not a dog creature, it's like a merman. Both those things are weak to bullets that I know of. We're not talking about some fairy monster like a Wendigo, which is resistant to traditional bullets because it's a fairy. So the only way for you to hurt a Wendigo that I know of, because it's a fairy, is with iron, because iron is like, you know, anti-magic traditionally. Anti-fae, right? So I'm gonna say you're okay. Here's the scenario though, right? You're in a position where you own goats, Sam. These are your goats that are getting chupad, right?
Yeah.
You would still fall behind it?
No, my goats? No,
Yeah,
hell no.
that's what I'm saying. So,
No, it's going down.
okay, so you're gonna shoot it. Okay, I'm gonna believe that shooting it's gonna hurt it and or kill it. I'm gonna also believe that it's
I'll just alternate between buckshot and slugs.
I'm gonna believe that both depictions of the chupacabra are weak to conventional weaponry, including blunt, sharp, and stab weaponry. They don't strike me. Both renditions don't strike me as resistant to anything really, because their natural prey is a goat, and goats are kind of docile, kind of non-threatening. Yeah, every once in a while you'll hear about a goat that just like fucking hit an owner and just punctured the side of his lungs and just fucking killed them, but it's by happenstance because they're goats. Goats sometimes have sharp horns or weirdly angled horns, So I'm gonna say the conventional weaponry is just gonna fucking destroy this chupacabra. And possibly hitting it with a car would also kill it. So I'm gonna draw you blasting. Your hands are coming out from right here. This is a shotgun. Fuck it.
Yeah, sure.
And you're just like, boom, here's the blast. Little, come on, give me the. There you go. You're shooting buckshot at this thing. And chupacabra, what you want him two-legged or four-legged?
Let's do it 4.
Four-legged chupacabra is like, oh fuck. That's his stupid dog-like head. And he is just He's not very big that I know of. Chupacabras are not very big. He's got to be like a dog size. I don't. Yeah. So, anyways, he's just getting day-dayed right here. Like, you just fucking bisected him with one shot, honestly. I can't imagine that, again, they're resistant to bullets, so. But yeah, I knew this was going to happen, by the way, when I was making this thought exercise for you guys. I knew I was going to come up with how would you defend yourself from your cryptid, and everyone was going to pick ones that are weak to bullets. Most animals are weak to bullets, dude.
Yep.
Fun fact.
Fun fact, actually. If I had have allowed, like, maybe for next time we do this, maybe I'll pick something a little bit more supernatural. Because, for example, right? I'm not gonna get into it, but I think things like the Jersey Devil are not so natural. I think that something tells me the Jersey Devil as depicted here is gonna be more supernatural than natural, and he's not gonna be weak to bullets. Do you know what I mean? It's like this is the kind of thing that strikes me as a fae, and that you need iron in order to hurt. That's just what I think. I don't know. If I saw this shit in the woods, I'd shit myself, but I also would be pretty confident I could shoot it and hurt it, but maybe not. It's kind of just like a weird goat, zebra, giraffe, bat monster, you know? So. Really just kind of... It kind of makes me think, like, how much of this is just people that got really, really, really fucking bored?
Probably most of it.
Probably most of it.
Or drugged out and bored in the woods.
This happened in, like, 1925. Like, we were in the middle of a world war, you know? Like...
No, we weren't.
Okay, we were on the cusp of World War.
No, we weren't.
Okay, when did World War II start?
Like, well, the U.S. didn't get involved till, like, 30...
41.
Something.
Really?
You know.
41?
38, I think.
38, right? I thought it was...
Well, that's when it started. That's when it started, but we didn't get involved until 41.
Yeah,
And that was
he's
December
right.
41.
Yeah.
So technically, troops, like, asses were not in seats until 42.
42, yeah.
Yeah, World War I ended in like 1918, didn't it?
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking of.
So yeah, the 20s. It's the Roaring 20s. That's when everyone's getting fucked up on moonshine, dude.
Yeah, because they survived the World War and they're like,
In
fuck
the
this.
forest. Yeah.
So you could buy all the good drugs in mail order catalogs.
Mm-hmm. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll do. Maybe I'll do some research and I'll talk to you guys about like fucking Algonquin monsters and shit. Cause I'm taking a Native American course right now, and there's like the whispers of weird skinwalker shit in there. And skinwalkers are just like, do you guys remember the rake? Do you guys know the rake?
Oh yeah, the rake.
Like
They
That was
rake.
one of my favorite urban legend things.
Yeah, it's like it's not a cryptid, but maybe that's what our next conversation like this will be about. We'll follow up. I will accept Slenderman style myth urban legends. How about that? We'll just say what urban legends, because the rake I would consider an urban legend,
Yeah.
and Wendigos I guess I would consider an urban legend. The rake, like the rake is kind of scary, you know, like as it's depicted, it's kind of scary. This is kind of scary.